starting soon screen, man. We're just jumping straight into this one today. So, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Let's get us some music going. I hope you're all doing fantastic. You know, we've been trying to do streams at a later time here recently, but I figured, you know what, we try to get in a morning stream from time to time, and it has been a while since we've done one. So today seemed like as best day of any to do a morning stream. Hello, Ivan. Welcome to the stream, dude. How are you doing? Hello, Jen. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Welcome, guys. Welcome. Today we're talking about the fact that your mind is supposed to run wild, right? A lot of people out there telling themselves that they're quote-unquote doing acceptance wrong because their mind is running wild, or they're doing acceptance wrong because they're experiencing a mind that is sending them a ton of negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts, what-if thoughts, and a lot of people, man, running around falsely believing that they're screwing up somewhere because their mind is running wild. And if you believe that you're screwing up somewhere because your mind is running wild, well, that's not going to lead to what we want it to lead to. That's going to make things very, very difficult for you, because you're going to be adding a ton of stress, a ton of worry, and a ton of obsession if you believe that. So let's see. That's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, make sure to leave that thumbs up. Really appreciate it. We're on a 16-day streak. Link is in the description. What is up, JR? Good morning. What is up, Annie? Good morning. What is up, Luis? Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're all doing fantastic. I probably mispronounced most of your names, but regardless, I hope you're doing well. We'll give it a minute, and then we'll go ahead and get rolling here. We're not going to wait around too long. The morning streams are never usually packed, so we're not going to wait around too long before we get started. How's everybody doing this morning? It is a 60-degree, cloudy, but yet very warm day here. So it's supposed to be bright and sunny later. That's part of the reason why I wanted to do a morning stream, because I want to take advantage of the day today. It's supposed to be a very, very warm, beautiful day. So wanted to go ahead, get this morning stream in, and then I'll probably spend the rest of the day doing some work outside, doing some things I need to do. I got to go pick up a few things for the garden. I'm okay, thanks, Wonder Bro. Glad to hear it, JR. Glad to hear it. All right, guys. All right. Let's see here. Are you a millennial? I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with all the terms like Gen Z, millennial. I'm not familiar. I am 29, if that helps. I don't know if that helps. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, good people. What is up, Elliot? Good morning. Welcome to the morning stream. I was right now looking constant, feeling a background anxiety stream before 4 weeks. Man, time flies. Time does fly. It's going to rain here today. It looks like it's going to rain, but the forecast says it's supposed to clear up, and the clouds are supposed to part, and it's supposed to be nice and sunny, so... All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this one started. Let's get this music out of here so we're not fighting with that the whole time. So today we are going to be talking about your mind is supposed to run wild. There's a very common theme, a very common false belief floating around that I've noticed, which is people thinking that they're only doing acceptance right. They're only doing acceptance right if their mind is calm, if their mind is steady, and they're not experiencing so many intrusive thoughts and a mind that's running wild. People think they're only doing acceptance right if the mind is nice and steady and calm, and then I'm doing acceptance right. So today I don't want to pull any punches today. I just want to get straight to the point. Acceptance blows. All right? Acceptance blows. Your mind's going to be running wild. You're going to experience a ton of anxiety in your body. You're going to be experiencing a ton of symptoms. Acceptance does not, and we talked about this in yesterday's stream, acceptance is not to be treated like a pill. It's not something that you're only doing right if it feels good. Acceptance doesn't feel good. Acceptance means you are eliminating things like coping methods, compulsions, and you are accepting that your body is going crazy and that your mind is running wild. Not literally crazy. Don't freak out on me. But your mind is just running wild and your body is full of anxiety symptoms. But acceptance is not to be treated like a pill. It doesn't mean that you're doing it right if you feel good. In fact, like I keep saying, acceptance does not feel great. So One, like I said, one very common false belief that I see floating around is that, Wonder Bro, I'm only doing this thing that you recommend, this acceptance thing, if I have a calm day. I'm only doing acceptance if my mind is not running wild. No, it's quite the opposite. You are doing acceptance when your mind is running wild. In fact, when you have these bodily symptoms, this includes your feelings and symptoms too, guys, okay? When you have these bodily feelings of anxiety, your mind is going to be running wild probably most of the time right along with it. Right along with it. It goes hand in hand. This is a part of adrenaline. A lot of people don't know that their intrusive thoughts and their mind running wild is a part of experiencing adrenaline. It is adrenaline showing itself in the form of thoughts. So yes, your mind will be running wild, and you're not just doing acceptance right if it's calm or if it's steady. No, it's going to be running wild. So I feel like this is very important, because how could you possibly not be stressing yourselves out, which is what we're going for, not freaking out as much, trying to work on those mental habits? How could you possibly not be stressing yourself out if you're running around with the false belief that, wait a minute, I'm only doing acceptance right, quote unquote right, if my mind is steady, if my mind is calm? Of course you can't be using the advice here if that is your belief, right? So you need to understand, guys, that when you have this adrenaline, when you have these false alarms, some people it's more constant, some people it's on and off. It depends on where you are in your journey. It doesn't matter. But you got to understand that when you have these false alarms, your mind is going to run absolutely wild. It is going to run absolutely wild. You're going to be having a ton of intrusive thoughts. You're going to be having a ton of what-if thinking. That is out of your control. The only thing in your control is whether or not you follow all of this running wild of the mind, and you get involved with it, and you argue with it, and you fight with it, and you obsess over it. That's what's in your control, not obsessing over it. And instead, you have let's give you an example. You have all of these bodily symptoms, which I know can be very intense. I'm not trying to take that away from you. And your mind is running wild. It's giving you all of these negative what-if thoughts. It's giving you all of this catastrophizing thinking. The only thing that you can and should be doing in those moments is A, living as normal, as if you're already healed, right? Just get on with your day. Don't go to the coping methods. Don't go to the compulsions. And B, just call it out. Just use your accepting inner voice. Just use your non-engagement statement. Say to yourself, hey, my mind's running wild. Hey, there goes my mind running wild. Shine a light on it with your accepting inner voice. That's what the accepting inner voice is. It keeps you grounded instead of obsessing. So shine a light on it. Say, hey, my mind is running wild right now. It's supposed to do that. You can even say that to yourself. It's supposed to do that. I expected this to happen. Right? Instead of, oh God, why is my mind running wild? Oh God, I'm not using acceptance right because my mind's running wild. Or, oh God, I'm doing something wrong because my mind is running wild. No, shine a light on it and say, I expected this. This is supposed to happen. When I experience anxiety, my mind is supposed to run wild with all of these different catastrophizing thoughts and negative thoughts and, these intrusives, right? These intrusives. So, of course, you can't be using acceptance if you're running around stressing yourself out about doing it right or wrong. You can't be using acceptance if you're running around thinking to yourself, oh God, because my anxiety is high and because my mind is running wild, I'm screwing up. I'm making a mistake. I'm going wrong somewhere. Something's wrong. You can't be using acceptance if that's your attitude, right? There's no way you could be using acceptance if that is your attitude. So you need to go ahead and get out of denial, right? That's really what this is. You need to go ahead and get out of denial and go ahead and expect and accept that when this anxiety is there, you're going to experience a ton of intrusive thoughts. You're going to experience a ton of bodily symptoms, and that's okay. Acceptance isn't about feeling good instantly. It's not about that. It's not to be treated like a pill. Acceptance is just about shining a light on it, a little flashlight, shining a light on it and saying, hey, there's my mind. It's running wild, and I expected that. That's okay. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to go down the road of addiction and fight with it. That's why it's addicting to fight with it. It's just shining a light on it and saying, hey, my mind's running wild. Okay, it is what it is. That's supposed to happen. Hey, my body's doing all these different things with all these different symptoms. That's supposed to happen too, right? So, again, a lot of people, man, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I just feel like this is so crucial. A lot of people, man, running around thinking that they're only doing acceptance right if their mind is steady and if their mind is calm. Your mind being steady and calm has nothing to do with acceptance and quote-unquote doing it right. Your mind is going to run wild, and your symptoms are going to run wild. You're not doing it wrong because this is happening. This is supposed supposed to happen, right? You can go ahead and expect for this to happen. And when you expect it, you'll have a much easier time not obsessing over it or fighting over it, because if you don't expect it, and you're just telling yourself, oh man, I must be doing something wrong because my mind's going crazy, well, then you're already obsessing. You're already adding extra stress. You're already done at that point, right? You've already screwed the goose at that point. So you need to understand, right? You need to understand that whether we're talking, and this includes physical symptoms too, whether we're talking about physical symptoms, whether we're talking about your mind running wild, these things are supposed to happen, right? If you base acceptance off of the way that you feel, you will never get where you want to be, right? You base acceptance off of whether or not you're obsessing over it, whether or not you are fighting them. That's what you base acceptance off of, not the way that you feel. I'll say it one more time. Not the way that you feel. All right? This is very crucial and important understanding. So, acceptance doesn't feel good. It leads to healing. It leads to recovery in its own time. Probably not as quickly as you'd like, but it will, right? It can take the edge off in the moment. It can absolutely take the edge off. It can turn a bad day into a pretty good day. But my point is, you never base recovery off the way that you feel. You never tell yourself things like, oh, because my mind is running wild, I'm not using acceptance correct. No, that makes no sense. You just accept that your mind is running wild. You accept that you're having these bodily symptoms. Stop trying to correct it. Stop trying to correct them. Stop trying to, stop feeding yourself full of lies like, oh, acceptance is supposed to make these things go away right away. No, it's not. Acceptance is supposed to slow down my mind from running wild. No, you'll probably still experience a ton of intrusives in your mind running wild and your physical symptoms, right? Again, man, a lot of people are trying to do acceptance, quote unquote, trying to do acceptance, and they're basing it off of the way that you feel, and you cannot base it off the way that you feel. And in no world can you base acceptance off the way that you feel. Your mind is going to run wild, and those symptoms are going to be there, and that's just a part of it. That's just a part of it. And if you can go ahead and expect that, and shine a light on it, so that's while it's happening in the moment, you can just tell yourself something like, hey, there's my mind running wild. I expected that. That's supposed to happen. Instead of getting involved in all the obsession and the fighting, same with your physical symptoms. Now you are practicing, right? Now you are practicing acceptance. Now you're on the right track. So you're just shining a light on it. You're saying, I expected these feelings to be here, these symptoms, physical symptoms, all these symptoms in the body. I expected my mind to be running wild. That's what happens when all this adrenaline's releasing. That's what happens during these false alarms. Go ahead and expect it. That way you can accept it instead of trying to obsess, worry, and fight and stress yourself out with things like, oh, God, I must be doing it wrong because my mind's running wild. No, you're not. It's supposed to happen. Oh, God, I must be doing it wrong because my symptoms are getting intense. No, it's not. It's supposed to happen. Oh, God, I must be doing it wrong because I can't get these thoughts out of my head. You're not supposed to. You're just supposed to stop fighting with them. Stop obsessing over them. Stop getting involved with them. People call it non-engagement. Right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to control what goes on in your mind, what goes on in your body and mind, right? So understand that this is supposed to happen. This is supposed to happen. Okay, you guys? You cannot reach true acceptance if you have this false belief that true acceptance has anything to do with getting rid of your thoughts and feelings in the moment. This is supposed to happen. All right, beautiful people, thank you so much for watching the main point of today's stream. We're going to get right into the post stream and hang out with you guys. We're going to get our music back. Let's turn that back on. Perfect timing, actually. Give me just a second. I'm getting a call, but then we'll be right back. All right, we are back. Sorry, that was fairly good timing. What is up, Ghost? We got Ghost in the chat. We got Winning in the chat. We got Elliot still. What's up, guys? Who's still with us? Avoid panic at all costs. Yes, if you were to face your worst case scenario today, say traveling abroad and having a panic mid-flight, does your worst case scenario scare you? I would know what to do. So if I had a panic attack come on, let's say mid-flight, I would know what to do. Yeah, I would know what to do. What do you mean, does it scare you? Of course it'll scare you. That's what panic is supposed to do, right? If I had a panic attack right this moment, in this second, of course I would experience fear, right? Fear is first fear. You can't get around first fear. So a lot of people think, oh, I have reached true recovery if this anxiety doesn't cause fear. Anxiety is supposed to cause fear, right? That's what anxiety does. It's supposed to cause fear. Second fear is in your control. Whether you become afraid of the feeling of fear, right? Whether you become afraid of the feeling of fear. So it's not that you will never experience fear again in your life. You're a human being. You will experience fear again in your life at some point or another. But it's whether or not you add second fear to that. Are you terrified, and do you get into your head and start fighting and obsessing over the feeling of fear? So if I was mid-flight and I had a panic attack, of course I'd be afraid. You can't avoid first fear, the feelings of anxiety and fear, but what's going to make the difference is, do you get into the second fear? Are you afraid of the feeling of fear? Are you afraid of experiencing fear? That's what's going to be the difference. Do you obsess and fight over the experience of feeling afraid, right? And I think it was Alan Watts who said, when you no longer try to avoid the experience of fear, you are starting to master fear, right? You are starting to master fear. So you will still feel afraid, yes, if that were to happen. But what's going to make the difference is whether or not this becomes a big problem, is whether or not you're adding second fear. That's what keeps you in the cycle, right? I mean, do you still avoid the idea of what used to be your worst fear now that you are so accepting? Do you still avoid the idea of what used to be your worst fear now that you are so accepting? Would I want to, I hate spiders. I can't stand spiders. I absolutely despise spiders. I hate heights. I would not like to be mid-flight somewhere. So yeah, I hate those things. I don't think I'll ever like those things. But would I know what to do, right? Would I know what to do if I found myself in those situations? Yes. But spiders, I don't know. If there was a big giant spider that crawled on my desk right now, yeah, I'd probably freak myself out. Yeah, I'm not superhuman. I'll never be superhuman. I would probably add a ton of second fear to that experience. And now I am very paranoid and looking around for spiders. So yeah, you will never be superhuman. A lot of people think that when you heal and you get back into a healthy nervous system, somehow you are just this ungodly person who can experience and face anything, including Lucifer himself at the gates of hell. And that's just not true. You're going to have plenty of specific fears. You're going to still very much be a human being. You will have a healthy, regulated nervous system, sure. And if you do want to face more of your specific fears, you can do that because you've got the skills to do that now. But will you be a human being that is superhuman, that has no fears? You will never be that. You will never be that, right? That's not going to happen. But you can get back into a healthy, regulated nervous system. Absolutely, 110%. Hi, Wonder Bro, how are you? When you said it's good to have fatigue, what do you mean? And you said it's a close step to recovery. Does not fatigue also make you think self-harm thoughts? And why does it? Fatigue is a very common symptom that people experience while they're going through recovery, because if you're using true acceptance, that means you have dropped all of your compulsions and coping methods. And this can be very tiring on the body because you're putting yourself out there, right? You're no longer relying on safety nets. You are facing fears, so forth and so on. You are facing your thoughts and you are facing your feelings without things like safety nets. So that can be a very draining experience. It is not dangerous, right? It is not dangerous. Cool. Okay. Thank you for answering that so clearly. Spiders is a super common fear. Yeah, you'll never be superhuman. You'll never get to a point in your life where, I mean, I guess you might be able to find somebody like that. I'm not going to lie to you. I still have plenty of fears of different things, right? And if a big giant spider crawled on my desk right now, I'd probably freak myself the fuck out about about it. Um, so, you're going to have plenty of fears still in your life. Everybody has certain things that they fear. Healing your nervous system because you're no longer obsessing and fighting over your anxiety symptoms and thoughts does not then translate to, oh, you are a fearless person who has no fears in life and can go to the gates of hell and fight through Dante's 8 layers, right? It does not translate to that. A lot of people do, for some reason, think it translates to that. I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying the general consensus is that once you heal your nervous system, you are a fearless individual who has no fears whatsoever. And that's just not going to be the case. I think that's a very human characteristic, is that all humans, even people in your life that have never been sensitized, right? Go ask somebody in your life who has never been sensitized. Ask them if they have fears. They will tell you that, yes, they do have fears. Now, with the advice, with the skills that you have learned here, you can practice facing those fears if you would like to, right? If I want to put myself out of my comfort zone and face the fear of spiders, I would use the skills that I learned during my sensitized journey, right? So you do have the skills, you do have the knowledge that you can now use to overcome more specific fears if you would like to, right? But with that being said, chances are when you heal your nervous system and you're no longer fretting over feelings of anxiety or thoughts, you're probably still going to have fears that trigger you from time to time, right? That's just a part of being human. But inner panic, inner tension, I am not productive, can't focus, word study, feeling of I can't do anything, this is eating me from inside. So there's nothing you can do about that, right? And that sounds very self-defeating, but there's nothing that you can do about those feelings of inner panic or tension, right? There's nothing you can do about your mind running wild. You have to get out of denial that you can change these things in the moment and force them away, because if that is your view of acceptance, then you're not using acceptance at all. Acceptance is not to change anything in the moment, right? It's not to change anything in the moment. But what about you, Wonder Bro? Because for sure most of you are in this chat for us look like Superman. You look so strong, confident. Post-traumatic growth is real. Well, that's what I was just saying, right? Is that, yes, you can heal your nervous system. I am not a fearless individual. I'm sorry if I'm bursting any bubbles right now. I am not just this fearless superhuman of a person. I do appreciate the compliments. You say you look like Superman. You look so strong and confident, and I do appreciate the compliments. And yes, I am much more confident than I was at one point, and I do consider myself strong, right? And I have a healthy nervous system. But am I a superhuman? Am I a superman? Absolutely not. There's things in life, there's things in the world that I quote unquote fear, right? That's just a part of being a human being. So I know that sounds like I'm trying to, like I said, burst some bubbles. I'm not trying to burst some bubbles. You can heal your nervous system. You can get to a point where you live a normal life and anxiety does not dominate your life, but you're probably still going to have some fears of things. That's just what makes you human. That's just a part of making you human. You know, when you go through stress in your life, you're not going to be a superhuman. You're going to experience emotions. You're going to, this journey is not about taking away what makes you human. This journey is not about saying you will never experience negative emotions again in your life. You will experience negative emotions until the day that you die. You will experience emotions from time to time, right? So you go back to being a quote unquote normal person in a regulated, healthy nervous system who is not dominated by anxiety, but that does not take away what makes you human. You're still going to have fears. You're still going to have emotions. You're not going to become this robot, right? You're not going to become this robot. So let's say, for example, if something really negative or bad happens to me today, I'm going to experience emotions, right? I'm going to experience all sorts of emotions. I've got the advice that I could now use, right? I got the advice that I can now use, but that's just part of being human. Ask anybody who's never been through sensitization in their life that you know. They've got fears. They've got emotions. That's just part of being human. Now, your nervous system that is extremely on edge and triggering you over unnecessary things, right? We can take care of that. We can take care of that. But as far as eliminating all emotions from your life and eliminating what makes you human, we can't do that. And we don't need to do that anyway. Once you heal your nervous system, once you start to make big changes to your brain, you're going to be more than happy being a regular human being. You're going to be more than happy being a regular human being like you used to be. Right? Like you used to be. You would know what to do with that, but no point, as it doesn't really affect you. Not a priority like fear. Exactly. If a fear of spiders was ruining your everyday life, then we might want to take care of that. We might want to take care of that. Then I don't want to be human. But see, that's the problem. It's not being human that is the issue. It is your resistance. It is that statement that is bringing the suffering, not the being human, right? Not the being human part. It is the resistance to it, the mindset that is causing the suffering. Nothing else, right? Nothing else. So, and you'll learn that as you continue to practice this. You'll learn that. Oh man, it is really stuffy in here. Saw a video of yours saying that you're even much stronger and better after experiencing all those craps. Oh yeah, you do get stronger. You do gain more confidence. You don't become superhuman. You don't become superhuman. You do gain confidence. You do gain strength, but you do not become a superhuman. You know, if I seen something today that really shook me up, you know, I would feel all sorts of emotions. That's just a part of the human experience. Healing your nervous system will get you back to quote unquote normal, but you're always going to be human. You're always going to be a human being, right? I mean, we can't, you know, you were a human being since the day that you were born. We can't get around that. We can't avoid that. There's no avoiding that. But your tired nervous system, your sensitized nervous system, we can take care of that. You can get back to being quote unquote normal where anxiety doesn't dominate your life. Absolutely. But you'll never get rid of the human experience. Now, I will say this. You can use the skills and the tools that you've learned here on the channel in your human experience, right? I use them from time to time. My nerves might not be sensitized, but if I run into a negative experience, I know better than to obsess about it. I know to use acceptance. I know, you know, all these different things. So I will say that you can use the skills and tools that you've learned here on the channel, and you can carry that into your human experience. Absolutely. Absolutely. 110%. All right, guys, give me just a second. We will be right back. We are on a 16-day streak. Thank you guys so much. If you'd like to support the stream, link is in the description. Give me just a second. All right, we are back. Thank you guys for waiting for a second. Appreciate it. Thanks for explaining and being human. Now I know what to expect. Did I already read that? I think I already read that. But either way, regardless, you are welcome. I'm glad you asked those questions. I didn't expect that the stream would turn into a topic about being human, but I'm glad that it did. I'm glad that it did. It is something that we've talked about before here on the channel. You know, a lot of people expect that they become superhuman or something after recovery. You do not become superhuman. You have a regulated, healthy nervous system. You do not experience unnecessary anxiety at unnecessary times, right? You go back to a regulated, healthy nervous system. But that does not erase what makes you human. You're still going to experience emotions. You're still going to have very specific fears. These things are just a part of the human experience, right? So don't, but you see what I'm saying here? If your goal has been with acceptance to not feel anything ever again, how is that? That is nowhere near where we need to be with acceptance. You're not even in, forget the ballpark, you're on another planet. Forget the planet, you're in another universe. If you think acceptance is about eliminating anything in the moment, if you think acceptance is about eliminating all human emotion, right, and thoughts. Acceptance is about getting your nervous system to a healthy, regulated system, and we do that by no longer taxing the nervous system with so much fighting, obsession, and worry over your thoughts and feelings. Acceptance is not about eliminating what makes you human. So once you get back to this regulated, healthy nervous system, you will not experience unnecessary anxiety at unnecessary times. You'll go back to who you used to be. You'll go back to feeling, quote-unquote, normal. Right? You'll go back to feeling normal. You won't deal with unnecessary amounts of anxiety. You will be happy. You will live your life, but you'll also have things that make you sad. You'll also have emotions. You'll also have fears. You'll also have all these things that normal people have. If you ask anybody in your life who's never been sensitized, if they have fears, they will say yes. If you ask anybody in your life who's never been sensitized, if they experience emotions, they will say yes, right? So you will go back to being normal. You will go back to not dealing with unnecessary anxiety, but you'll still be a human being. You will still be a human being, right? But what is it? What is I gotta pay the bills? I don't get paid enough for the conditions and risks today. Understandable. Is your job wanting you to get out there in some pretty nasty weather? I think as people who are anxious, we forget that we are human and humans experience emotions and feelings. Yeah, and when you try to get away from that, you're not even in the same universe of what acceptance is. Acceptance is saying, hey, what is here, and it's not worth fighting with. What is here, and it's not worth arguing or obsessing over. What is here, and it's allowed to be. That is the attitude of acceptance. If you're viewing acceptance as something that makes you superhuman and it erases all of your normal human emotions, well then, like I said, we're not even in the same world as what acceptance is supposed to be, if that is your view of acceptance, right? So it's one of those topics that can get a little bit hairy, because some people do believe that they're going to somehow erase all of their emotions and stuff, and it's like, no, you will get back to being in a healthy nervous system. You'll get back to and not only that, but you will grow stronger. You'll be a better version of yourself. So yeah, you will go back to being happy. You will go back to a regular nervous system, a healthy nervous system, and not deal with so much unnecessary anxiety. But you're still going to experience human things, right? You're still going to very much be a human being. Was wondering what's underlying personality traits that get us there. The difference between anxious and other people. Obsession, worry, control freak, right? Obsession, worry, control freak, all of those lovely things. Wanting to control every situation, including your own thoughts, including your own feelings, so that you turn into obsession no matter what pops up. If it's a feeling, we start obsession. It's a habit. If it's a thought, you start obsession. It's a habit. So the personality traits of being a control freak really, I think, sums it up quite beautifully and quite neatly. Nobody here, now there might be some people in denial, but nobody here is going to, unless they're in denial, nobody here can disagree with me when I say that we've all got some control freak personality types, right? I think acceptance is about getting your nervous system regulated, then go do the work of accepting your human nature, therapy, church, friends, journaling, whatever works. Go find your thing. Yeah, get your nervous system regulated. Get your nervous system not so fried with obsession and fighting and arguing, what Dr. Claire Weeks called second fear, and then just go live your normal human life, right? And you should be doing that already, but the point is that, yes, life just carries on as normal after you get your nervous system to a healthy degree, a regulated degree. Gonna lose service on my phone. Love you all. Gonna rewatch later after work. Hey, stay safe, Elliot. Stay safe. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So the only way that you can get your nervous system right is to stop taxing your nervous system. And the only way that you can stop taxing your nervous system is to accept that your mind is running wild and accept your symptoms without adding a bunch of extra second fear, aka worry and obsession and a fight. That is how you get your nervous system right. So live your life, stop fighting with your thoughts and feelings. You guys know the 2 keys by now, right? You guys know the 2 keys by now. So yeah, that was a great question. That was an interesting question. I'm glad that was asked. That way everybody maybe has a better understanding now that this is not about some sort of ungodly human feat, right? To try to eliminate all emotions. That's just never going to happen. Oh, why didn't you say you're live? I did. In the Discord. At the best time. Yes, we are here. We haven't done a morning stream for quite some time. So I figured, you know what? Let's do a morning stream today. Oh yes, having your phone off may cause that issue. It may cause the issue of missing the notification. That may be it. How are you doing, Minty? Welcome. How are you doing today, Crystal? Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing fantastic. Like I said, Elliot, stay safe today, dude. Stay safe. My issue is people treating me really badly, shaming me when I experience panic or fear. I've had to learn not all people suck. Just look at this crowd. Not all people suck. There's going to be judgmental people out there, right? There's going to be judgmental people who just pass their very harsh, very negative and very harsh judgments on others, but that's also a part of the human experience, right? We've been talking about the human experience this morning. That's also very much a part of the human experience. Whether or not you obsess over that or fight with that, right, is going to determine whether or not that becomes a huge problem in your life or whether or not it's just a passing event. Hi, still struggling how to accept my symptoms, read Claire Weeks for years, but still don't understand what exactly I need to do in the terms to accept. Accept just means don't obsess. Right? Does that make it any simpler? Probably not simpler to do, but does that make it simpler to understand? Obsessing is when you get into your mind and you start to fight with your thoughts and feelings. Oh, I don't want to feel this. What can I do to accept this, to make this go away? That's fighting. You get into your mind, oh, you know, that thought, what if that happens? And I don't want that to happen and blah, blah, blah. That's fighting, right? So acceptance is more of a mental attitude of, hey, what is here? I'm not going to log into a bunch of obsession. I'm not going to log into a bunch of a mental fight. I'm just going to live my life as normal. So you're doing positive behaviors, which means you're just living, you're going on about your day, and you're not up in your head fighting with your thoughts and feelings. So we talk about that here all the time on the channel. So if you're new here, feel free to stick with us. I would appreciate it. We're always, you know, we're always welcome to anyone who wants to join our growing family here. What is up, Mint? What's the question? Made it to a live. Hope your morning is going good. Well, hello. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. It's the reason I avoid panic. What will others think? So therefore must stay in control. Only makes it worse. Don't give your power away. Yes, don't give your power away. You know, anything that you obsess over has power over you. So if you're obsessed about what other people might think because you experience panic, that's going to, of course, cause you to feel anxiety. Any sort of worry is registered by the brain as danger. Now, you can't control what intrusive thoughts and feelings you have, but you control whether you add a bunch of worry to them, whether you add a bunch of obsession to them or not, right? Good morning, Kate. Hello, welcome. Welcome. Hope you guys are enjoying the morning stream. Thank you for being here. We'll see what Minty's question is, guys. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you leave that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you'd like to support the stream, link is in the description. We are on a 16-day streak. Thank you, guys. I don't think I missed any questions. I think we're all caught up. But if I did miss your question by chance, feel free to just comment it again, and I will do my best. I will do my very best to answer it for you. Also, real quick, gonna drop that Discord link. If the bot works today, that is. There we go. I've been at the point for a while where I don't often feel the need to ask questions of support chat because I already know the answer to them, to most of them. But we'll see. We'll try to answer whatever your question is for you, Mint. After last night, YouTube videos scared. I'm deleting all my history. No more anxiety, mental health history. That video snuck in me and gave me first fear, but I'm using it now to let it burn. Yeah, I mean, at some point, research comes to an end, right? At some point, research comes to an end. Maybe you catch a stream every now and then, but at some point, all of your time off the stream does not need to be spent doing research. Once you get the answers, which you now have if you've been here on the channel, right? Once you get the answers, it's time to just implement those answers, and all of the obsession, worry, and research, you're not going to find anything. A lot of people are in the search for a magical fix. You're not going to find that. In fact, all you find is a breeding ground for just extra stress and obsession and fear. So at some point that does have to come to an end, and you just have to start to implement the things that you've learned here on the channel, right? Yeah, a lot of people do tend to get stuck in the whole research phase where all they do is Google and you know, just constantly video after video, and they're not actually, I'm not talking about you in particular, I'm just saying it's an ongoing problem for a lot of people. They're not actually putting into practice, into play what they are learning. They're just taking it all in and not putting it into play, right? And that's a problem. that is a problem. But once you have the answers, you need to use them. Wonder Bro, what's up, everyone? What's up, Tony? How are you doing, dude? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. I'm still kind of stuck in a cycle of doing better than encountering some big concern that's full of obsession or get more sensitized again. Maybe there needs to be more practice when those things come on and they get very sticky and the anxiety's high and that obsession is really bugging you. Maybe needs to be more practice on your ability to really accept these intrusive thoughts instead of allowing them to make you go down the rabbit hole. So it sounds like things come along, right? You do a bit better, and then something comes along, some sort of obsession, and it gets you. It gets you. You go back into the addiction. You go down the rabbit hole, right? So it's never going to be about basing recovery off of, oh, how is my rewiring going, right? So the habit will pop up. The habit will pop up, and sometimes it'll pop up you could be doing really great for a week, and then you have a big thing pop up, a big obsession pop up, an intrusive thought or a feeling pop up, and it's going to determine, you know, what you do with that is going to determine your success. So there's a huge time lag. You do not get instant results from acceptance. You could be doing really great for a week, 2 weeks, and then you have like this big intrusive pop-up that causes all sorts of feelings. That is not an indicator that you've been doing anything wrong. What's going to determine your success is what you do with that obsession or that intrusive when it pops up, right? If you're doing the right thing, just continue doing the right thing. This is just a matter of time then. It takes time for the brain to learn. If you're not doing the right thing and you are fighting with these intrusives when they pop up randomly and kind of blindside you, then there's obviously just more work that needs to be done on not going down the rabbit hole, right? On not going down the rabbit hole. But if you can honestly say that you aren't going down the rabbit hole and you're not fighting with these thoughts and feelings and you are just letting them burn, well, then it's just a matter of time, and you need to have patience and give it as much time as it needs. If you are still fighting with these intrusives, well, then there's just more practice to do, right? There's just more practice to do. I always thought it was strange not to want to watch a bunch of videos and research, but through this journey, I've learned it's best to leave all that shit alone. Yes, ma'am. Another call. Give me just a second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. The old, so another thing I want to say to you men is that the old addiction is still going to pop up, right? The old addiction is still going to pop up. You're still going to be tempted to make the wrong choice. I also want to throw that out there. I'm trying to make complete sense of the question, but I feel like that might be part of the question. You're not just going to eliminate the old addiction and temptation to want to obsess and fight. That's still going to be there. That's still going to be there. The old stuff, man. The old stuff takes a while to completely get rid of, like the old addiction and the old habits. Those are there as long as you're not actively partaking in them. The temptation is still going to be there, right? The temptation to do that is still going to be there. You got to catch it. We use that term a lot here on the channel. You got to catch it. You're awesome, Wonder Bro. Wish I could tip you today. Appreciate that. It's the thought that counts, right? It's the thought that counts. We are going to be live for probably about 10 more minutes, I think. About 10 more minutes. It's okay. If we don't get any tips today, that is fine. I'm still glad that we got to do a morning stream. Like I said, we don't often get to do a morning stream. So I'm happy either way that we could do a morning stream just for some of the people that normally don't get to watch us live, right, because of time zones and stuff. So I guess one problem is that things pop up that I believe to be real problems. I struggle to identify what's irrational concerns and actual issues that need to be addressed. If it is a danger now, you probably won't have time to obsess over it, right? It'll be something that you need to take action against. So if it starts with what if it starts with something that is not currently happening but could be happening in the future, then it is not a real concern now. A real concern now is something that is actually currently occurring. And in fact, if it's currently occurring, then you don't have time to really obsess over it, right? You don't have time to obsess over it because you're too busy decision making. You're too busy decision making. But that is a big can of worms. It's also a difficult question for me to answer. I can't really decipher what sort of thoughts that you have or what sort of intrusive thoughts that you have. But I can tell you that unless it's an actual concern which is happening now, if it starts with what if and it's something that involves some sort of possible problem in the future, it is definitely not worth obsessing over. What was the point today? Today we talked about, what did we talk about? Your mind is supposed to run wild, meaning that you are going to experience a ton of intrusive thoughts and symptoms when these false alarms occur. It was basically a stream that said, hey, look, guys, it's no such thing as you're doing acceptance wrong because your body and mind are experiencing all these different symptoms, right? That's no such thing. No such thing as that. It's supposed to happen. Your mind is supposed to run wild. You're supposed to experience these symptoms. Basically just addressing the whole false belief that you're only doing acceptance right if you feel good, or you're only doing acceptance right if your mind is steady or calm, which is just not true. Video came on after I was watching and boom, it scared me, but using it now to practice acceptance of fear and emotions, win-win practice. Thanks, Wonder Bro. Absolutely, dude. Keep using those skills. Why most people that had or have anxiety have self-harm thoughts, and have you ever had them, or how did you overcome them? So your mind picks topics that's going to go against your morals, right? Your mind picks topics. Your anxiety mind, your intrusive thoughts are purposely going to pick topics that it knows is going to get you to argue and to fight. So that's why you get a lot of thoughts that go against things that you would never want to do, or things that you would never actually do. Your mind knows exactly what to send your way in order to get you to fight. So that's why you experience thoughts that goes against things that you things that you would never actually do, right? I heard something the other day that helped me with overthinking. Maybe this will help someone else. Worrying is praying for what you don't want. Yeah, basically. So no worries, guys. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. How are you doing today, Tony? All right, guys, we got about 10 more minutes left in this stream. So if you've got any questions, feel free to ask those questions now. Let me see here. 1 second, guys. 1 second. All right. I wouldn't have to think about that, man. I'd drive to the kid's house and start throwing hands with that little bastard. There you go. There's you some Kate advice for the day. Who do we still have in here, man? Who do we still have in here? Everybody's taking the example literally. Mint's getting a bunch of parenting advice. I get the analogy, Mint, that you are trying to put into words what it feels like to be addicted to obsession and oh, should I really obsess about this? Should I really obsess about this? I get the analogy. I get the point that you're trying to make. I'm going to tell you that's a question that probably can't be answered and probably will never be answered. And at some point you have to say it is not worth the obsession, right? Mint. Thank you so much, Mint. Holy shit. Mint with the 35. Thank you, Mint. Thank you. I appreciate you. First tip of the stream. Thank you. We might actually hit tip goal. I was not expecting that. We might actually hit tip goal. Thank you so much, Mint. I really appreciate it. But yeah, to kind of further elaborate on the point that I was trying to make, you may never get to the point where you can get 100% reassurance that it's time to drop the obsession. You kind of have to weigh your options. Either we take this leap of faith and we drop the obsession and we start to work on it and we live a happier, healthier life where you can make better decisions when you are in a regulated nervous system, by the way. So either we take the quote-unquote leap of faith and we drop the addiction to obsession because you probably will never get 100% reassurance that something is not worth obsessing about. We take the leap of faith, we work on the addiction of obsession, and you get into a happier, healthier place in your life with a more regulated nervous system and a calmer mind due to the work that you've been putting in. Therefore, you are going to make better decisions, right? Or we continue to do the obsession and you stay in a tired nervous system where you make worse decisions because it's a proven fact that when you are in a tired nervous system, the part of your brain responsible for logic and rational reasoning is overshadowed by fight or flight. So actually you do obsession to be more prepared for life, which makes you make worse decisions. So that's the irony. You do obsession so that you can be better prepared for life and that you can handle life a little bit better. But the irony is that the more obsession you do, the worse decisions you make because you stay in fight or flight, and fight or flight overshadows rest digest, and rest digest is where you can make logical and rational decisions, right? So again, that is the great irony of worry. We do worry in order to be prepared, but the worry makes you far more unprepared because now you no longer have access to the rational part of your brain where better decisions and decision-making skills lies, right? So that is the great irony of worry. So at some point you have to take the leap of faith and say, wait a minute, if I want to make better decisions, if I want to be better prepared for life and things that happen in life, I need to get into rest digest. And in order to get into rest digest where better decision making is and lives, right, I have to drop the obsession. So that is the great irony of worry. You do it to be more prepared, but worry actually makes you far more stressed, far more anxious. It keeps you unhealed, and it actually leads to you making worse decisions because you are making decisions from a place of fight or flight. So that is my my mini rant on why we should probably get out of this mindset. Hey, can I really drop the worry? What if I'm unprepared? You're going to be far more prepared if you drop the worry, actually, because now you've got access to the part of your brain that is responsible for better decision making, right? Do I at some point need to decide if I miss the problem, it's worth it or something? Basically, because if you miss the problem, but that leads to a healthier nervous system, you're not going to miss the problem. Does that make sense? You're not going to miss the problem if you are in a healthy, sound body and mind that can make good decisions. If you are in rest digest where rational decision making exists, you're probably not going to miss the problem. And even if you did, it probably would not be the end of the world, right? So yeah, I know that sounds like a probably an unsatisfactory answer for you, right? Coming from someone who is, like I said, we're all control freaks, or we've all been control freaks at some point. So that's probably an unsatisfactory answer for you, but it's a true answer. At some point, you need to decide that your mental health and your body and mind being in a regulated nervous system is going to serve you more than obsession and worry. In fact, it's going to lead, like I keep saying, to even better decision-making skills, right? So the inability to tolerate uncertainty is what leads to most anxiety disorders. The inability and the unwillingness to tolerate discomfort and uncertainty is what leads to most anxiety disorders, because until you practice tolerating uncertainty, you will always obsess over any thoughts that you get or any feelings that you get, which will keep you in the anxiety disorder, right? If you have to ponder on something you should have to address something, then you probably don't need to address it. I like it, Kate. I like it, Kate. Yeah, so the root of all anxiety disorders is the inability or the unwillingness to practice being with uncertainty or discomfort. Therefore, you obsess and you fight every thought and feeling that you have, and around and round we go. Round and round we go, right? So, in fact, not only are we going to say that I can't give you 100% reassurance that you're not going to miss, quote-unquote, miss something, but we don't want to. We don't want to give you that, because we want you to practice your ability of being with uncertainty and discomfort, right? Because that was the cause, the direct cause of your anxiety disorder, and that is the reason it continues. So not only do we not want to reassure you that you will not miss something, we also want you to sit with the discomfort of maybe you will, maybe you won't, and that's okay. And that's okay. That is okay. So you want total reassurance that you're not going to miss something. But that's not going to get you to recovery. We want you to sit with the uncertainty. We want you to sit with the discomfort of not knowing. We want you to accept your thoughts and accept your feelings and be with them so that you can stop the obsession. The obsession is what's keeping your nerves tired. So again, we don't want to reassure you. In fact, we want you to know that it is a good thing that you practice sitting with uncertainty and the discomfort of uncertainty. That way you can break the addiction of obsession, which will heal your nerves, right? What I came up with is to live in your purpose and to live the life that you want for you. It's so many things that you are able to do once you actually believe in yourself. I love it, Tony. Thank you for that positive message. Appreciate it, dude. All right, guys, we're going to be winding this one down in just a few minutes. Mint, thank you so much for the $35 tip. I appreciate you. Thank you. I don't know if we'll hit tip goal. If not, like I said, either way, it's okay. We haven't done a morning stream in a while, so I wanted to do a morning stream just for those people who don't normally get to watch us live. So because our usual lives have been pushed, we're doing them later in the afternoon. Somebody suggested that, and everybody was pretty happy with that decision. But I don't forget about you guys who can't catch those streams, so I wanted to do this one regardless. You'll never have 100% certainty, Mint, right? You'll never have 100% certainty regardless. Regardless, you will never have 100% certainty. You will never be 100% prepared for all the things that could happen in your life, right? In fact, a lot of the major life-changing events, so to speak, happen with no preparation whatsoever, And if you worry about something long enough, you'll realize that when it comes time to make a decision, you just make a decision. You don't even take into consideration all of the worry that you did months prior. It doesn't even come into consideration. You just make the best choice that you can in the moment. So it's completely useless either way you look at it, right? Either way you look at it. If we get 15 before the stream is over, we're keeping the streak. Yes, like I said, it's okay if we don't. It's no big deal if we don't. I wanted to do this morning stream regardless. I know that the morning streams are not super popular, but like I said, there's people in different time zones who don't get to catch our later streams. So I wanted to at least do one because it had been a little while. So. Oh, the sweet leap of faith, Mint. Oh, the sweet leap of faith. But I hope maybe we gave you, myself and the chat, hopefully maybe we gave you enough reasons as to why it's a good idea to take this leap of faith, right? My biggest reason being that once you're in a healthy, regulated nervous system, you're going to have much better access to better decision making, and the logical, rational part of your brain will start to take over. And that sounds like that's where you want to be. You want to be able to make better decisions. You want to be rational. You want to be logical. That seems to be the root of it. So in order to get there, you have to take the leap of faith. It's kind of ironic. Morning streams are the best because it's 5 p.m. here. Yes. I haven't forgotten about my my morning peoples. My morning peoples, right? That's why I wanted to do this one today. Every now and then we throw out a bit of a morning stream, right? They may not be as popular, but I still like to see my morning folks from time to time. Somewhere in Europe. 1705. I'm not even going to pretend to understand what that time is. Not even going to pretend to understand what 1705 translates to. But that sounds like a good time. Sounds like a good time. It is 11 a.m. for me right now. 11 a.m. Oh, it's breakfast time, guys. It's breakfast time, man. $16.08. Europeans are so confusing. Can't you guys just make things simple? 16.08. What the hell? What the hell does 16.08 mean? Man, you know what my favorite time of day is? 16.08. Like nothing beats a good cold drink at 16.08. Jeez, I really love when it becomes 16.08. $5:05 p.m. Okay, now you're talking. Now you're talking. Now we're talking. I love my European peoples. Don't worry. I love you guys. I love you guys. Jeez, I love it when it's 16.08 in the afternoon. I love it when it's 13:37. 1738 is the only 1738 that I know. Why do Americans write dates wrong? We write them right. Everything we do is right. Everything you do is wrong. $17.38. That's my favorite time of day, personally. Sorry, Mint, your logic doesn't work here. Everything I do is right and everything you do is wrong. That's just reality. Why do you put the month first? I mean, to be fair, that's a decent question. But I think we're even. I think we're even after the whole 1337 nonsense. I think we're even. I think we're even. Right? Can we call it even now? Can we call it even? I agree with you on the whole month thing. Actually meant, correction, we do not weigh things in America with numbers, and we do not measure things in America with numbers. We use, you know, like, oh, that's the size of 2 school buses, or, oh, that is very, very heavy, like the size of 2 or 3 cows, right? Like, that's the easiest way to weigh and measure things. That's how we do it in America. Who needs numbers? Who needs specifics? Right? Nobody needs all that. Nobody needs all that. I'm pretty upset. What has you upset, Kate? What has you upset? Oh, I think we got an ad on our music. We got an ad for Flex Glue. Interesting. I have not seen a Flex Glue commercial in quite some time. That is still a thing, apparently. That is still a thing, apparently. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I see. That makes sense. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Julie, thank you so much for the $5. I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you so much for the $5 Cash App. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me add that. Thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate it. Guys, we are only 10 away. 10 away from tip goal, but we are going to be getting off to eat some breakfast here in just a minute. But we are 10 away. 10 away. 10 away. 10 away. I ordered cheese bread, but it's still doughy, so I'm just eating the cheese off the top. Doughy bread. Ugh. I don't blame you. I would be very upset about that. I would be very upset about that, Kate. Also having a problem. Thank you so much again, Julie and Mint. Appreciate you guys. 10 away, man. Also having a problem when repair USA lawnmowers. All bolts are in inches, not metric. Yeah, I wouldn't understand metric. Put it in the microwave? I don't know, maybe. Do we condition ourselves to be sensitized in certain life situations? You can definitely develop specific triggers, right? Like you can tell your brain through the way that you behave in certain situations or moments that something is a trigger or a danger when it's not actually a danger. So sensitization means a tired nervous system. It's a nervous system that's under too much stress. It's basically too much obsession, worry, and fighting with your thoughts and feelings. So it's more of a general statement or term. But you can absolutely have more specific triggers outside of that as well. Yeah, definitely. Hey, Wonder Bro, I'm doing so much better now. What's up, Olivia? I've done so well with acceptance, and it really does work. I feel like for ages I was thinking I was accepting, but still telling my anxiety it needed to stop, right? So basically what you're saying is still fighting with your thoughts and feelings instead of just telling yourself, hey, I expected this is supposed to happen, and just allowing that to burn and keep living your life. So maybe for a while you were still up in your head, stop, try to fight with those thoughts and feelings, and now you have finally started to practice true acceptance. And that is amazing. That is great, Olivia. Thank you for checking in and spreading your positivity. I do appreciate it. Wow, we're almost at tip goal. Yes, we are almost at tip goal. Morning stream, we're almost at tip goal. We're 10 away. We are going to be shutting down here in just a minute, though. I'm pretty hungry. I mean, it's hard being international, but I think we'll get along. Did I say that word right? I tried putting it back in the oven, Mint, but it didn't cook anymore, and I just burned the cheese. Depressing. Very depressing. I'm sorry, Kate. I would be equally as upset. I think it's 24-hour time. Not a good way to start the day. I'm very sensitive when it comes to my food. Yes, me too. I would be, like I said, being upset over that is justified. Being upset over burning your cheese and having doughy bread is 100% justified. It's too bad, but when you've eaten the cheese off, if you could try again, maybe that's an idea. Who knows, right? All this food talk, even if it is doughy bread, regardless, all of this food talk is making your boy hungry. I did have some toaster strudels when I first woke up, and those are pretty good. But that apparently wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. No ASMR breakfast stream. What is it? It's like lunch now, technically. Yeah, I don't know if ASMR is my forte. Don't know if I could nail that one. Don't know. All right, I hope you all have a great day, night. Thank you for being here, Kate. Really appreciate you. Thank you. I hope your lunch or dinner or whatever comes next is better than your breakfast was. That's all we can hope for at this point, right? That's all we can hope for. It was nice being able to do a morning stream, though. A lot of faces we don't normally get to see, so that's nice. So it's not morning, technically, for you guys. No, you're really good at it. You really think so, Mint? I don't know. I don't think so. We've done a few we've had our joking moments of ASMR, and I don't know if I nailed those marks or not. I find ASMR odd because it does nothing for me. It's just random. I get people like it though. A lot of people use it to sleep. A lot of people use it to sleep. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of ASMR. I did find one streamer, like on TikTok, I think, who did ASMR, but she wasn't doing the weird like whispering stuff. It was just like she had a microphone really close to this water, and there was like little things in the water, and they were making these really soothing noises. I don't know. That was kind of nice. That was kind of nice. But when it comes to the whispering and stuff, and the noises like they make with their mouths, like the popping noises and stuff, I don't know if that's my thing. I don't know if that's my thing, honestly. I guess I can see the appeal, but you absolutely nailed them. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I do. I'm a pastry chef. You're a pastry chef. Nice. Are you serious? I can't decide if I want the jacket on or off today. One moment I'm chilly, and the next moment the jacket's just too much. Julie! Julie, we've got good news, guys. Julie, again with the 10. Hold on, there's a tip note, but I need to open my phone to see it. Let me get that updated. Thank you, Julie, so much. Again, with the 10, the first time with the 5, and then with the 10. Thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate you. That takes us to a 17-day streak. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Let's see what that tip note said. Come on. What's up, Donkey? What is up? What's up, Kristen? What's the weather like in the U.S.? It's so warm here in the U.K. It's very warm, but at the same time, it's chilly in this house. Okay, tip note said, thank you for all that you do. I appreciate you. Thank you, Julie. I don't know why it won't let me see the tip notes on the lock screen for Cash App, but thank you so much for that. That is tip goal, 17-day streak. I appreciate it, guy. Julie, yes, I believe it's Julie, unless I'm saying it wrong. Or Julia. It might be Julia. I take nature sounds, ocean sounds, to chill. Yeah, I just don't like the whispering. Other than that, I can understand. I love ASMR noises as long as they aren't made with the mouth. I hate that. Yes, exactly. That was the point I was just trying to make. That was the point I was just trying to make. Is JR behind in the stream? I don't know. ASMR does the opposite for me. Yeah, there's a huge divide. A lot of people are into it. But I agree on the mouth noises. Thank you guys again for the tip goal, man. I really appreciate it. 17-day streak. Love you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I agree on the mouth noises, though, Donkey. I'm not a fan. Not into the mouth noises when it comes to ASMR. Just not my thing. Does that make you sleepy? Does that make you guys sleepy? We're just fucking around at this point. I need to go eat breakfast. Does that make your anxiety feel better? Are you feeling less panicky? Huh? Are you? Are you feeling less panicky now? Tap yourself on the forehead. Tap it. Tap yourself on the forehead right now. Huh? You feeling less panicky? Feeling less panicky? I couldn't sit and do that for hours. You would have to kill me. You would actually have to kill me before I could sit and live stream that for 2 to 3 hours. I would hate my life. I would actually hate my life. I couldn't think of anything worse. I'd rather be dead. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here in today's live stream. I appreciate you. Thank you for the tip goal. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the positivity. We're going to go get some grub. I have nothing else to say besides thank you, and I love you oh so much, and I'll see you very, very soon. Till next time, as always, stay awesome.